Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. So this might be a little weird to see this sighting in progress, but don't worry, you didn't miss anything. We are going to be sighting in and starting game number 2, and the reason for that is because Maticus had a disconnect for game number 1, and they didn't send the replay, and I don't think it really mattered either way. So he ended up just deciding, hey, I'm going to scoop up the game rather than resetting the game, resetting the field or whatever. But we do have Maticus down at the bottom, who got 4th place last time with Zodiac, and he is on a completely different deck this time, and that is Shaddoll Invoked, which should be very interesting. Because we have, the hits with, in the Invoked hits, we have Makabado 0 and Windada 0 as well in Shaddoll. So there are a couple different things that he needs to do to make this deck a little bit more playable. And up at the top, we have Wolf83 on Melodious, which is a deck that I helped him build a little bit. And we're going to go ahead and see what we got here. So I believe that he is, Maticus down at the bottom is going to be opting to go first. So he's going to start off with a normal summon of Korobane, and he's going to normal summon Alistair and use the effect to add invocation from the deck to the hand. Then he's going to link it off into an Almirage, and then he's going to set 2 back row, being Dimensional Barrier and Paleo Dynamistus. So passing over to Wolf's turn, he has a Herald of the Abyss, which is really cool here. Unfortunately, there's not really anything that he could really get rid of. I mean, he could get rid of this Korobane or the Almirage, but in either case, I don't think it really is going to matter. I guess he could probably get rid of the Korobane. But first move at solo, 2 copies is a little unfortunate to draw into, but he does have an Eva as well, which is really cool. So he's going to start off with the first move at solo to get into a level 4 or lower Melodious monster from the deck. He's going to opt to go for Aria, which I'm a little unfamiliar with the Melodious cards, but I do have like a general idea since I did build this deck. I don't remember if Aria was like the correct choice to go for here. I mean, it makes it so they can't be targeted by card effects or destroyed by battle, so I guess it plays around Dynamis just quite well here. I think that a really good thing is that you could actually just go into Eva and then link off into the Melodious Link monster. And the Melodious Link monster is really nice because you can discard any card and then summon 2 Melodiouses from your deck. And Eva will also get you a search for any fairy, level 2 or lower light fairy, which is all your heralds. So you can search for Herald of the Orange Light or Herald of the Purple Light or Green, which are all nicely color coded for the respective negations. So I think that would be really cool. He's going to go with a normal summon of Soprano here, which I guess makes sense. So he can go ahead and fusion summon a Melodious monster, which is going to... he's going to let it go through, actually. He could use the D barrier here to negate it, but he just decides not to. Bloom Diva is actually incorrect summoning because Melodious Maestra is the requirement, so we do catch that here. So he does go ahead and put that back, and he could go into a Shuberta, which can go ahead and banish like the Alistair or something like that out of the graveyard. He's going to go ahead and use Dynamistus, targeting the Shuberta, and he can go ahead and change Shuberta's effect to go ahead and banish the Alistair out of the graveyard. Then Invocation is going to be discarded as part of the affected Dynamistus to banish the Shuberta. He's going to go into main phase 2 and just pass his turn. I guess he could have used this Herald of the Abyss to get rid of the Korobane. I don't think it really mattered all that much, though. Set Rotation is going to be picked off from the top here. He's going to use it to go ahead and set Light Stage to his opponent's field, as well as, I can't see what this is. It won't let me. I believe a Meltdown to his field. Yep, a Meltdown. So he's going to go ahead and use it to add the Alistair to the hand. And he can also use his Invocation in the graveyard to add the Alistair back. But he's going to go ahead and use Alistair's effect on normal summon. And that's going to get hit with a Solemn Warning, so the summon will be negated. Next, he can go ahead and use Invocation in the grave to shuffle it back into the deck and add the Alistair back to the hand. And then he's going to go ahead and link off the Almirage into a Secure Garda to get just the extra points of damage in. So he's going to go ahead and attack into, Wolf's life points into 1,000 and 2,000 life points respectively. Passing his turn off, this is very interesting, and I think obviously the best play here is to use this first movement solo to get into a Melodious monster, normal summon the Eva, and to make the Link monster, which we'll see if he does that here. Looks like he's going to go into a second copy of Aria. normal summon Eva, and then go into Blue Harmonist. I'm assuming he should get rid of this Shofina here. I think that would probably be the best thing here, and he can also use Eva's effect as well. So, Bloom Harmonist is going to discard the Shofina out of his hand, and he's going to grab a cannon and the copy of Sonata, which I think was a very big misplay on his part. He should have grabbed Soprano, because Soprano you can get into your fusion summons. Obviously, it would have baited this dimensional barrier in this case, but the other important thing is that when in a special summon, you can add a Melodious monster from your graveyard back to your hand, which you could use as discard material for your heralds that you search off of Eva. So Eva's going to go ahead and banish 2 Melodious monsters from the graveyard, being Arya and Soprano. So one of these definitely should be the Soprano, so he can, you know, put a lot of more damage in. So he's going to grab Herald of the Green Light as well Herald of the Orange Light. And I think he should just use this Herald of the Abyss, calling Light Fairy, to get rid of the Korobane. And, you know, the cannon and the Sonata should just be in attack mode, and then he could clear over the Secure Gardna. He is attempting to fusion summon, which you literally can't do because there's no fusion, like, spell or anything. So there's no way he can make this Shuberta. So we do correct him there as well. But I think this deck is pretty cool. Another misplay here is that this Bloom Harmonist was buffed with Sonata, so you could just use Bloom Harmonist to swing over Secure Gardna, just to get rid of a extra material on his opponent's field. I think it would have been very important for him to, you know, bait out this D barrier, especially with the Soprano. He would have an extra fairy in hand at that point as well. And then, you know, the D barrier would have been baited out. Then he could use this Herald to get rid of the Korobane, and he could attack for the 17, 1,000, and 19. So that's, you know, quite a bit of damage, as well as he would have a form of negate, being a monster negate or a spell negate, which he still has in this hand as well. So, moving on into Maticus's turn, he's going to draw for turn, drawing into Hedgehog. He's going to normal summon his Alistair and use the effect, and that's going to get hit with a Herald of the Orange Light. So, Korobrane's going to be going into battle phase and attacking over Sonata, and then Secure Gardna is going to crash into Bloom Harmonist. So I think it would have been like, put him in a very, very commanding position if he would have just used this Herald of the Abyss. He probably would have won the game, honestly. Drawing for turn, he goes into a Pot of Desires, and he uses Light Stage, and uses Light Stage to bait out this D barrier, which is actually a really smart play, but he probably should have done that on the previous turn, because now he can't fusion summon for this turn. And then Dynamistress is going to be chained, and he can go ahead and use Pot of Desires to go ahead and draw 2 cards. He's going to draw into another copy of Eva as well as Score, so he can actually use this to get into another fusion play, or at least the other Link monster. I'm not sure if he's going to do that. It looks like he's going to go into Eva, and he's just going to opt to go into battle phase, I guess, which makes sense, actually, because the Bloom Harmonist doesn't have enough attack points to clear over this Dynamistress. Well, it does. The cannon does, so he's going to use that to attack over. Then he's just going to go ahead and link off this Eva into a copy of Link Karibo, and then use Eva's effect to go ahead and get him into 2 more fairies that he can banish out of his graveyard. And I think he's probably going to add another Orange Light and another green as well. He's going to pass this turn to his opponent, and he draws Super Polymerization for turn. So he's going to go ahead and set this Hedgehog, and then use Super Poly, discarding it. And Wolf is going to attempt to use Green Light, but obviously Super Poly cannot be responded to, so you can't do that. Then it's going to fuse off the cannon as well as his face down into Shaddoll Construct. And then Shaddoll Construct can trigger to add him, or sorry, Hedgehog can trigger to add him a Squamata. And the Construct is going to send Squamata to the grave as well to send Shaddoll Fusion to the grave. So that when this Construct leaves the field, he can grab the Shaddoll Fusion. In fact, I think he's probably going to do that right now. Linking off, oh, it looks like he doesn't. I thought he was going to link off the Construct into a Gravity Controller, but he didn't. Korobane's going to swing over Link Karibo. Link Karibo is just going to use its effect, and then Construct is going to attack for 2,800. Passing his turn again, Wolf draws into Honest Return, and he can go ahead and normal summon Score, which it's basically an Honest, but for Melodious monsters, it's kind of similar to Honest, at least. Then he can go ahead and he's actually just going to pass his turn because he has this Honest in hand that he can use. So Coralbane's going to attack. He's going to use Honest's effect to, you know, kill the Coralbane. He's going to take 200 damage. And then the Construct is going to attack for game because the score is only at 2200, and so that's going to be 600 points of damage. So moving on into game number 3, actually. They are each 1-1 right now, so the winner of this will be, you know, I think their score is actually, yeah, this is still round 1, so yeah. Anyways, Solemn Warning is going to be set to the field, and then Pot of Desires is going to be activated. And then he's going to go ahead and draw into a copy of Pot of Extravagance. We're going a little fast here. Arya is going to be normal summoned, and then he passes his turn. I didn't see what Matt drew for turn, but he's going to activate Light Stage to go ahead and search for Coralbane. Then Stage is going to hit the back row, and then he can go ahead and special summon Coralbane, and then use Shaddoll Fusion to fuse the Coralbane as well as the Squamata from his hand, and that will go ahead and make a Construct. Construct can go ahead and use the effect as well as the Squamata to send Wendy as well as Shaddoll Incarnation. Wendy's going to get him into Beast, and then he's going to go into battle phase and attack over Arya with Construct for 1200 damage. He's going to go ahead and set the Super Poly as well as the Squamata from his hand, and he can go ahead and pass his turn. In the end phase, the back row dies because of Light Stage, and we're going to see Wolf draw for turn. He starts off with First Movement Solo, which is obviously a misplay because Extravagance should be the first card activated. So First Movement Solo is going to get him into a Cannon. And then he can go ahead and normal summon Eva, link those two off into a Bloom Harmonist. And then he can go ahead and use Harmonist's effect to discard Soprano. And then he can, at this point, Super Poly is chained here. And since Bloom Harmonist summons to zones it points to, if it's in the graveyard, it doesn't point to anything since obviously it's in the graveyard. So he can just fuse the Bloom Harmonist and the Squamata on his field into another construct, and it will basically resolve it without effect. Eva can activate here, banishing the two Melodious monsters from the graveyard to go ahead and search for, I believe, Herald of the Green and Herald of the Orange Light, which are kind of nice. I definitely think this Pot of Extravagance search would have been really powerful here if he used it at the beginning of his turn, but he didn't. Construct is going to be activated as well as Squamata's effect, which will send Wendy and Hedgehog to the graveyard. And then he's going to search for Squamata as well as special summon Shaddoll Dragon from the deck. So he's going to pass his turn and draw for turn. He draws into Wendy, and he's going to flip summon Beast, which is going to get hit with a Herald. And then he can go ahead and flip summon Shaddoll Dragon. And at this point, I think this is 7,500 damage, which Wolf is only at 6,800. So that is going to be enough for game. So a little unfortunate there. I definitely think that there were a couple misplays. However, he is pretty new to the deck. So it was kind of interesting to see something very new, I guess, especially seeing this Melodious Link monster. I pretty much forgot this card existed altogether, so I think it's kind of cool to see this card see some play in some form or another. But that's going to do it for today's video, and I hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you guys in the next one.